Good morning and welcome back to our Good Morning North Coast show. With me, I'm very excited, is Victor Snyders, CEO of Skin Renewal. Victor, good morning.
Hi there, Taryn.
Thank you so much for being with us here this morning.
Greatest of pleasure.
I'm so excited for this interview. So obviously Skin Renewal is such a powerful brand and we all know the name, but we don't know the background behind Skin Renewal, and I'm so excited to get it all out of you.
Taryn, it's really a fun story because this is a business that was never meant to be.
Really?
It happened by accident.
Oh my.
So we go all the way back to 2004. My life partner and business partner, now Dr. Maureen Allen, and I met in 2004. We'd both been divorced. I'm an architect by profession. She's a medical doctor. And we started to date.
Yeah.
I was still working in the shopping center industry where we were doing development work, and she was working in executive health. Now, back in about the year 2000, she had read in a medical journal that there was this new wonder drug available called Botox.
Oh.
And she became one of the first 4 doctors in South Africa to understand what it was and how to inject it.
Wow.
But she treated it as a hobby.
Yes.
Her daughter had a very bad frown, and she decided that instead of what she had been doing previously, which was putting sellotape on her daughter's head so that she didn't frown at night.
Sounds like something I should do too.
She was going to Botox her. And this was a sideline hobby. She was working in executive health,
Okay.
and a spare bedroom in her apartment had been turned into a little surgery. And 2 afternoons a week, she would get home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it started off with her seeing her sisters, then her sisters' friends, then a few more people and whatever. And it was just really a sideline hustle.
Yes.
Now, in every complex, there is what we call the curtain twitcher.
The curtain twitcher.
Yes, that's generally an old, unhappy person who is twitching the curtains and looking at everything that goes on in the complex because they need something to complain about.
They're bored. Yeah, that's it.
We've all met the curtain twitcher.
They're all there.
If you've lived in a sectional title scheme, you know the curtain twitcher. Anyway, our curtain twitcher decided that there were too many visitors coming to Maureen's apartment during the week. And she worked that out because the gate used to get opened through a remote control, which was activated through a cell phone signal. So it generated a cell phone call.
Yes.
And she had gone and analyzed all the cell calls that were made from the gate.
Oh, no.
And Maureen proportionately had more visitors than anyone else in the complex.
To go through all that effort.
So Maureen and I were still dating, and she came to me the one evening. She said, I've just got a letter from the body corporate, a cease and desist letter that I may not run a business from the spare bedroom. So we said, okay, well, she said, I don't want to let my patients down, so I better get an office.
Yes.
So we went and rented a small office, 30 square meters, about half the size of the studio. And that opened on the 7th of the 7th, 2005, the day of the London tube bombings.
Oh, no.
Her son had moved to the UK, so for us it was a pretty stressful day because what had happened, and we had to make sure he was okay. And she came home that evening and she said, Vic, it's not going to work. I'm sitting in this tiny room. I've got to now start taking this seriously because now I'm paying rent and I've got to employ someone to answer the phone. And if I've got overheads, I can't go and be doing another job and pop in here 2 afternoons a week. I'm going to lose money. So we've got to take it seriously. And with this little room, I can't do everything. So that weekend, we went out and we bought an old, dilapidated house in Parkhurst.
Yeah.
And for the next year, I did the demolition and we renovated and we built a complete new clinic for ourselves. And the idea was that she would move from where this office was across to that clinic.
Yes.
As the date for opening approached, her patients, because these are on 2 separate sides of Johannesburg, one in Rivonia, the other in Parkhurst. And her patients said, well, we're not traveling all the way to Parkhurst. You may want to move, but
they're pretty much comfortable.
We want to go where it's convenient, and that's not convenient to us. So she said, well, you know what I can do? I'll work in the morning at Morningside and in the afternoon at Parkhurst, and then the next day I'll work in the morning at Parkhurst, in the afternoon, and then I can do 2 branches. and then I'll operate that way. As that was happening and we were about to open, we heard of a doctor who was in the Fourways area who had opened up an aesthetic practice who wanted to sell. He was getting divorced, and to avoid having to pay the proceeds of the sale of his practice, he was doing a buy now, pay later scheme.
Okay.
Which is nice, because then you don't have to get financing.
No.
So essentially, we bought this practice.
Yes.
I'm still doing my thing. Maureen's running around all over the place. It's not called Skin Renewal. We have no idea really what we're doing.
Crazy.
The accounting system is a cardboard box in the corner into which all the papers get thrown. There was no brand. There were no computers. There was absolutely nothing holding it all together. Now there were 3 clinics. So now Maureen has to split herself across 3 clinics. And she said to me, "No, this is getting insane." We're both entrepreneurial, so we did these things, but without thinking what we were doing. And we sat with this nightmare that we had to sit and manage. She said, "You've been complaining about the property industry in your career. You want to change in direction, so come on board, let's do this together." And then we established the business.
That's amazing.
And we thought that was all.
Yes.
We thought we would just run those 3 branches, which nobody had ever done before, and see what evolved. And then the thing just took on a life of its own. We've made many, many mistakes over 17 years. What we've always tried to do is minimize our errors and capitalize on our wins.
Yes.
So when we make an error,
And
cut out quickly and take as small a loss as possible. And gradually this business grew, and now there's 18 branches in the country,
Sure.
around 200 staff, 24 doctors full-time on staff,
That's amazing.
and about 80 therapists. And the business has had to be reinvented many, many times over the 17 years. And it's just been an amazing journey.
What you guys have done is just incredible, absolutely incredible. The fact that you actually started, literally, like you said, your filing system in a box. Look where you've come to, and it's such a renowned brand, and the services that you offer and the products that you offer, it's just state of the art. And really, it's always so nice going to Skin Renewal and having treatments done there. And thank you for all that you guys have done for the industry as well, because you set the benchmark for everyone else basically in the industry, and it's just so lovely to hear the story behind it all.
You know, what was interesting is that when we decided we were going to take this seriously as a business and no longer as a hobby, we sat down and we had our own little workshop session. And the task we gave ourselves was that we needed to come up with the answer to why. Why are we doing this?
Yes.
Interestingly enough, Simon Sinek, who does incredible talks on YouTube and TED Talks, many years later wrote a book called Why, which is the purpose behind why you go into a business. If you go into a business to make money, you're in it for the wrong reasons, because there's no higher purpose. You simply, and every decision you make is then based on making money. So we needed to find a reason, why are we doing this? And what we came up with was that, and we made it difficult for ourselves because we gave ourselves only 4 words to answer the question. It's a lot more difficult to tell a story in 4 words than it is in an essay. So what we finally came up with was we facilitate transformation.
Yes.
And what we wanted to do was put people in a position where they could transform their lives through their own self-image.
Absolutely.
Because if they felt better about themselves, because of how people were reacting to them, they would be more confident and they would be able to transform their lives. And then we took that a step further in that we wanted to transform the lives of all the people who worked within our organization. And now, that's all it's good and well that you're doing something like that. But if you don't make a profit, you're going to have to close. So now you manage the business so that it's profitable, so that you can do what you want to do.
Victor, what you guys have done, how phenomenal, the way that you've built up your business, the story behind it, how you've incorporated into the lives of your staff, the people behind it, the clientele. Thank you. It's been such a privilege having you on set today. And hopefully we'll get you back on soon. We can dig into the products and the services. Hopefully get my Botox done.
Anytime you like.
Victor, before we say goodbye, where can we get a hold of you, Skin Renewal?
So there was a very well-known doctor in Ballito called Dr. Michelle Westcott, who had been here for about 7 or 8 years. And she got offered an amazing job in Ireland as a trainer for literally the whole of Europe for a major training company in aesthetic medicine. And she literally had a couple of weeks within which she had to dispose of her business.
Sure.
And we got into contact with her. It was the week after the KZN riots.
Yes.
And we'd always wanted to do Ballito. We'd been looking at Ballito for 2 years. And unless we got exactly the right location and the right circumstances, we were not going to open in Ballito just to be in Ballito.
Yes.
It had to be the right deal. And we did the purchase from Dr. Michelle. We did the deal on the 5th of August. She handed over the keys on the 15th of August. We renovated and revamped the premises and reopened on the 25th of August.
Absolutely fantastic.
So we're just on Douglas Crow Drive, opposite the main road that comes from Zimbali.
Yes.
Opposite from the hospital in the first office building. That's there. I think it's called Regency House.
The Regency building.
Yes, the Regency building.
Viewers, there you have it. Our own Skin Renewals here. Please go and visit them. You will not regret it. Victor, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure,
We really
Karen.
appreciate having you in studio. And a big thank you to our viewers, Michiel, Carla, and Natalie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it as well. We're going to go into a quick ad break, and after the ad break, I've got my special guest, Sasha Mirage from the Rise Up movement. We'll be right back.